don't know about you, but sometimes I get into my kitchen and start baking, and then I realize I'm missing a key ingredient. Well, today I'm getting ready to bake, and I realize I don't have very much brown sugar. But you know what? I don't worry about that because I make my own brown sugar, and I use ingredients that I always keep in my kitchen, and that is sugar and molasses. So if you want to know the recipe for brown sugar so that you can make your own and save money, come along with me and I'll show you how it's done. Okay, well here we are in the kitchen and we've got my KitchenAid. Now, I've always used a KitchenAid mixer to make my brown sugar. So if you don't have one, I think you could make it with a regular handheld blender, but I've never done it, so you try it, but I think it should work. But it's really easy on the KitchenAid. So let me show you how to make brown sugar. All right, I think I have it so that you can see my mixer bowl. And so making brown sugar is just super simple. And you can make it light brown sugar or dark brown sugar, whichever kind you prefer. Now the ingredients are, of course, plain white sugar and then molasses. Now, I use just plain molasses. And usually I add a little bit to make it even darker because I like my brown sugar nice and rich. A little bit of blackstrap molasses. You don't need this, but if you want to make it richer like I'm making it, this is good. But you don't need this one. This is the kind of molasses that you would need to make just basic brown sugar. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fill up my mixer bowl with sugar. Let's see what's the easiest way here. Let's just grab a cup here. And I always make a big batch, and then I have a container on my counter for brown sugar. Plus I put the rest in a Ziploc bag, like a gallon Ziploc bag, because we do go through quite a bit of brown sugar with all the baking and things that we do. So I'm going to make a big batch. Now again, if you buy sugar in a bigger bulk and you make your own brown sugar, you save quite a bit of money. And you always have some brown sugar on hand because you don't use a lot of molasses in it. Okay, I've got that about 3/4 of the way, 2/3 full. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my paddle attachment. Use your paddle attachment, not your whisk. Okay, then I'm going to turn this on low, and then it's kind of hard, you pull it up. There you go. So I'm starting to mix it, and I'm going to eyeball this. You can measure it out, but really the more you add, the richer your brown sugar is. So I'm going to start with 1/4 of a cup maybe, and I'm just going to drizzle it in. There's about 1/4 of a cup. Okay? And I can speed that up just a little bit. Now this will make it a pretty light, a fourth of a cup will make a pretty light brown sugar. It's not going to be very dark. But before I add any more molasses, I'm going to add a little bit of my blackstrap. And I'm just going to add a couple of big tablespoons. There's 1 tablespoon. There's 2 tablespoons. So I added 2 tablespoons of the blackstrap. And right now you can see it's got lots of little pieces of the molasses in there. That's going to get nicely mixed in. So I've got it on power 2. I'm getting a nice golden color right now. I do see some of the dark specks still in there, so I am not finished mixing. As long as you see the dark specks, you need to keep running it. And this does take a few minutes to mix. It's not hard, but it just takes a few minutes to mix. What I'm going to do now is turn it off and just check my sides. Now when I was pouring this in, I tried to stay away from the sides of my bowl just because I know it does get a lot of the brown sugar on the sides if you, or no, I'm sorry, the molasses on the sides if you pour and hit the sides. So I try to hit toward the center. I'm going to go ahead and pour a little bit more, maybe another fourth of a cup of regular molasses. Okay. Start off slow. And you'll see it starting to become a little darker. Now, if you want it darker than what I have here, you can certainly add more. I'm thinking it's probably about right for me. A nice golden brown. Just mixing that last bit in. And I don't see any other big chunks of molasses, so I think it's just about mixed. Let's turn it off and check it out. And you always want to check all the way at the bottom, make sure, yep, it's gotten mixed all the way down there. And you know, it's going to pack like regular brown sugar because of the moisture from the molasses, and it's going to taste really good and really fresh. So what I do with this now is I will put part of this in a canister on my countertop, and then the rest I will put in a Ziploc bag and just keep it on my shelf, and when I run out I just make more.